Alright, another successful day at pouring bismuth. I want to give a shout out to an Etsy seller, Wells Handmade. This is the mold I've been using, and it's already held up to 20 good pours already, and judging by how much it's holding up, I probably could get another 20 out of it. I paid about 15 bucks for that mold, and the intricate details are pretty good. The other thing I like about it is the backs of the mold turned out decent as well. Usually when I pour into silicone, the backs are disgustingly messy. It bubbles all over the place, and there's usually a big bump out of it. This one didn't turn out that badly compared to other silicone molds that I've poured into. So at least these ones, they can stand, right? The worst are when the backs really need to be flat because they're the base of it. Usually I'll put a piece of graphite over it after the pour, but then it comes out all jaggedy, and anybody who knows me knows that I hate to have bismuth crumble off of the molds after they're done, because it feels like you could lose some of the metal. Bismuth is almost as rare as gold, right? Actually, I was showing a friend how to do this, and I was collecting all the bismuth dust and then putting it back into the furnace, and she said, "What is this? You treat this like it's gold?" I said, "Well, it's almost as rare as it, right? It's not my fault that people don't want to value it correctly, right?" And so I really hate losing any of this bismuth. To give you an idea, I had wiped down my hot plate, and then I placed the paper towel into the furnace to burn the paper away to recover the little bit of bismuth that was stuck on the paper towel. Anyway, that's just me though. I just love playing with it more than anything else. That's my masterpiece right there. Tomorrow I'm gonna go look for a picture frame that I could snugly put that into. Right now it's kind of hard to move around. Anyways, it's about an inch thick. I'll probably find a picture frame, put some newspaper behind it to get it to snugly fit into place, and then I could show it around, right? We got an art show coming up just before Valentine's Day. I just ordered some molds for hearts for Valentine's Day. And then my favorite, I call this the bullion bar because it serves as a way to put the bismuth aside for the future, right? I got about 200 of them so far. Anyways, why the fuck would you buy silver when you can buy 100 times more bismuth? And I kind of mean it. It really does serve as its purpose, right? It stores value. It has beauty to it. The only reason I think bismuth isn't used as our currency standard was because of how late it was discovered, right? It was mistaken for a form of lead. It's kind of interesting. The name bismuth literally comes from the name silver that hasn't been ripened yet. Although in more modern times we have discovered that bismuth, in theory, decays into gold. It might take much longer than the age of the universe, obviously. So it's really gold that hasn't been ripened yet. Although, good luck trying to actually get bismuth to decay into gold, because as it's decaying, bismuth, along with all the heavy elements, are really good at absorbing neutron radiation, right? So in theory, bismuth could decay into thallium. It has a half-life of 2 times 10 to the 19 years, but it also absorbs background neutrons to become polonium, which decays into lead. Lead also absorbs background neutrons. So in theory, you might just end up in a loop, right? Instead of having the decay from bismuth down to gold. Feel free to leave a comment if you know more about this. I've always wanted to see a simulation of what would happen as one of these things decayed. If anybody has an idea, I would love to see that. Anyways, why the fuck would you buy silver when you can buy 100 times more bismuth?